But what is the line of flirting?
Bitch, what I was trying to say is this situation got me so wet and so dry at the same time. Exactly.
What's up, bitches? Welcome back to another episode of So Wet, So Dry. I'm one of your hosts, Autumn. Like the season, I love to flirt and fall in love, but I'm forever emotionally unavailable, and I work in entertainment.
Okay, and I'm Fiji, like the island, like the water. I love to create sexual tension, even if I'm never gonna fuck that person, and I work in marketing and social media.
Bitch. If you guys are new here, what we do on So Wet, So Dry is we deep dive topics based off of sex, relationships, identities, all through the lens of pop culture, internet trends, and our community's experiences. We always post polls on our social media for every episode, so please give us a follow at So Wet, So Dry and join our community of confused pussies. We'd love to have you.
Yes, ma'am. And today we're talking about cheating. What qualifies as cheating? How do we define it? What does it look like in 2023 and also going into 2024 because we are very close to the end of the year.
Thank
guys.
God.
Right, thank God. But before we get into all that, we're going to start the episode as we always do, talking about what we're so wet and so dry about in this very moment. So I'm going first.
Yeah.
I'll go first. All right. So I'm so wet because I've been creating sexual tension / fantasizing about this guy that lives in the building that I do. Okay, but I work out in my like home gym because I canceled my yoga membership, so I've been working out, and like I feel like I've talked about this before, but like I hate working out around like other people or like other people watching me, let alone in a small enclosed space. So much to my surprise, one day I'm working out and this like super hot dude who's generally not my type, like he's definitely giving athlete, like he has to play like professional soccer or tennis or something. Like it's giving like
hot
that, like he does like crazy stretches or whatever. But we just be like looking at each other when we're like working out, and I've seen him a couple times now, and I was like fantasizing about it when I masturbated the other day.
And you didn't tell me this?
No, I was waiting until the podcast.
Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Because I remember when you were telling me about him one time, she like sent a picture and was like, that's his store. Because
no, not that one. No, okay, so that's the other thing. I've been spending way too much time home, guys. So like all of my crushes live in my building right now.
So there's another one?
Do you see that guy working out? He is not an athlete, bro. The one I sent you a picture of, he's much more like
I didn't remember.
Guy.
Yeah.
Okay, that guy, he lives like 2 doors down, so maybe I should whisper because they could hear me. But there's him, there's the guy at the gym who's the one that I've masturbated about, and then there's another dude too that I talked to by the pool one time. So there's like 3 that I have
by
on
the
my
pool
radar.
one time?
By the pool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Bro.
But this one, he'd be like smirking at me and I'd be like flustered because I'm like in the middle of a rep. Like, I don't know.
That's crazy, but what a fucking motivation to work out. Can you guys coordinate schedules? Like, as much as I feel like it's like kind of awkward, it's also like motivating because that's what's like when I'm in a workout class, I go so hard because I want to beat everyone. Mm-hmm. And when I work out alone, I'm chilling, I'm vibing.
Right,
but a workout class brings out a monster in me, bro.
Bro, like I go so hard when he's in there and I'd be like trying not to
look
look
at
him, but then I feel him look at me. And like usually I don't like creepy guys at the gym, like whatever, but like I don't know, like
yeah. My wet for this week is not that fun, but I'm basically wet because my relationship with my dad is like getting better.
Okay.
So I don't like saying wet and dad in the same sentence, but as you guys know, we're so wet about normal shit, not just sexual shit. Yeah. But anyways, our relationship's getting better.
I thought you were going to say your ex, so I was like, that, but that's
I can't talk about her every episode. I really can't.
Okay.
But yeah. Yeah. So my relationship with my dad, it's just like we have been like FaceTiming and stuff. Like I'm gonna like hang out with him when I go home.
Wow,
but I know, like I don't FaceTime him or even fucking talk to him for that matter. So It's just kind of nice. It feels good. It's the same thing we always talk about where it's like hating men doesn't make you feel good. It like makes you feel like shit. Like hating him has not served me. So I think I'm just going to like take into account that like he is the way he is because of how he was raised, like blah, blah, blah. He definitely had a really rough childhood and stuff. Like not to excuse all of his behavior, but like he's definitely a unique being. Yeah. And I'm just wet about the relationship getting better because it hasn't been good since I was like 12 and I'm 25 now. So what's up?
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, that's wet though. I feel you. Like I've been working on my relationships with my family too. I feel like we're at that age where it's kind of like we're older. We can let go of things that happened when we were younger and try to like know them as adults.
Right. Right.
So I'm happy for you. That's good. Dry. Okay, so I'm so dry. I started to say this a minute ago, but I wasn't gonna say it. So I have like this habit of like getting drunk like during the week by myself sometimes, like after I finish everything that I'm supposed to do. And
it's like how I get high though. Like it's okay.
Yeah, it's like, but like bitches should know how to stop sometimes.
That's
like
true.
It's not all like I don't have an alcohol problem, guys. I'm not like a drunk, but like I did finish a whole bottle of wine and a Fireball shot, and then I ordered more alcohol because I was just on like
Okay.
Again, it was one of those nights.
Yeah.
So I ordered the alcohol and had to go downstairs to pick it up because I didn't want to walk to the corner store because it was late. So
oh my God.
The front desk, I was like, started talking to the front desk guy and was like, you know,
the doorman.
Sweatpants, the doorman. I'm in my sweatpants looking crazy, fucked up. And I'm just like, you know, like I always thought you were kind of. And he was like, honey, I'm not on that team. He's gay, guys. Like, I was so embarrassed. It was so
Did he tell you?
I was like, yeah, he said I'm not like on that side of things. Like I'm not.
You're like I've always thought you were.
Like I was like, you know, because at first I apologized for my friends because I'm like, I know we like be drunk sometimes. We have to like sign our cars in, and like sometimes like we just be like extra, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry to. So again, creating sexual tension, like, I don't know, what the fuck. But then when I found out he was gay, I just felt like I should confide in him. So I started telling him all my relationship problems, which, like, he knows who I was fucking with because he saw me come into the building.
Oh, my God.
So now I, like, never want to see him again. He called me actually this morning because they call before they let the Uber Eats people come up. And so I was like, you could let them up. But yeah, this is not, I did this once before, flirted with the doorman guy. And he was like, no, he was not 18, guys. He was like 20, 21. He was like young. But thankfully he stopped working there after that and like whatever. But again, what is with my building? Like, I need to get outside. Like, this is
Bro, like, just this whole image of you doing that is fucking killing me because the immediate vibe switch when he says he's gay, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, so that's what we're going to do. So now I'm actually going to trauma dump, and you're going to listen.
I was like, you want a White Claw? He was like, no, we can't drink. Bro, on one. Completely fucking on one. It was very embarrassing. But you know, now I have a funny story.
I never want to see him again. Babe, but that is hilarious.
And then, no, it was worse too because I was like, oh, like, you know, this dude that lives on this floor. Oh! Like, oh, you should look out for him for me. Like, it was so.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Again, a whole bottle of wine, a Fireball shot, and I opened a White Claw and posted up.
Bro, you're like leaning on the desk. You're like.
The dead ass, literally, in my sweatpants, no makeup, hair up, looking crazy, like the neighborhood, like crazy woman.
That's fucking, oh my God.
Yeah, so don't be like me and maybe like don't start drinking wine on a weeknight after you have everything done. Like I feel like that's not
see vibe. I feel like you feel me on the security guard vibe because the doorman's definitely wearing some type of uniform, am I right?
Yeah, no, like a polo shirt and a name tag.
Well the name tag, anyways, I don't know, I'm fucking weird.
Yeah.
My so dry. I had it. I knew what it was, but you just.
You're low.
My low. Oh, okay. Thank you. My low. It just that story was so funny. It caught me off guard. I'm sorry, guys. But my so dry for this week is that I may or may not be like ghosting my therapist a little bit, just because like I'm doing things she wouldn't approve of, and I want to hear her tell me shit. And also with my new job, I'm like on camera all day. Like usually I can take a lunch whenever I want. Nope. Now I have assigned lunch break, and my therapist's hours do not align.
Okay.
So I have to do therapy at 8 a.m. every morning. And like, I just feel like she hurt my feelings last time because I just woke up and I'm doing therapy. Like, it was too much. And so I just keep emailing her like, hey, I'm going to cancel this week. Like, see you next week. Because I just don't want to.
How many weeks?
Just 2.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Right. I mean, I feel like she's going to cut me off if it gets to be 4. Low-key, these therapists are cutthroat. They need their money too. Like,
yeah.
She's trying to replace
she might just open up the time slot for somebody else. Do they still charge you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the time
No,
slot.
I lock my time slot in. Like, a bitch has stolen my time slot before, and my therapist was like, nope. Like, I'm like, I love her. She knows my time. I did therapy a couple times at 9 a.m., and it was not the vibe. I was, like, delusional. Like,
yeah, and, like,
call,
I'm sensitive. So, like, she was just, like, checking me, and I was like, whoa. Like, who do you literally think you are?
Let me wake up first. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just dry about that. But I definitely will go back. Like, it'll happen, or I'll get a new one. Like, we'll figure it out, guys. We're all in this together.
It's a journey, but
right.
You got it.
All right, guys. So let's get into the episode. We're talking about all things fucking cheating. I feel like Fiji and I's views might not align with the common public, but we're going to get into it. Maybe it will. So I want to start us off with the award-winning question. Who cheats more, men or women? Okay. I found this statistic thing on LA Weekly. And basically, overall, men cheat more, hands down, without a fucking doubt on this earth.
Period.
It basically said, out of the men and women they gathered, 20% of the men have been unfaithful to their partners before, and only 13% of women had sex with other people while being in a relationship. So, 20% higher than 13%. But when I kept reading, it like breaks it down by age, and it's actually really interesting. Because ages between 20 and 29, like in their 20s, if we're just doing that, we're including age and gender, women actually cheat more. And I'm like, honestly, go off. Like, go us. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm surprised.
I know. It basically, but it's close. It was really close because it said 10% of men in their 20s cheat and 11% of women in their 20s admitted to cheating, like, out of the people they did in the survey. So it's close, but ultimately, like, women cheat more. And then when you get into your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, it's men. Those are all, like, out of the survey, the men did the best. But in the 20s specifically, it was women. And I just think it's interesting because we're women. We're in our 20s. I mean, I've never really cheated. I have definitely cheated.
I haven't. I've, like, towards the end of the relationship, when it was, like, clear that it was over, I may have, like, left a little early.
The only thing,
within a week.
Yeah, the only time I remember specifically cheating was like actually at the beginning of a relationship because I knew I was about to be locked down and I wanted like one last wild night. It was when I was doing the LA program. It was with girlfriend number 2. And we were talking, like we were like basically dating, like it was bad.
But I feel like it's still different.
But we weren't dating yet. And I was at a bar and this girl, she was a photographer, like giving, like, can I take your picture? I was like, yeah, you can. So, and then we just had a great night, never talked to her again. We didn't even fuck. Like, we just made out in the bathroom. Yeah. But it was hot. And I definitely liked it and thought about it a lot. But then we started dating like a week later. But like, we weren't dating yet. So
yeah, you weren't dating yet. So I don't think that's cheating. But the statistic, okay, wait. The statistic that 24% of men in their 60s cheat and 26% of men in their 70s cheat is insane. That's higher than in your 30s and 20s.
And I think it's because these bitches have been married for so long. They're desperate. And that's like,
that
right?
Is crazy.
Like these grandpas.
Yeah, but can they even get it up? Like, you must be popping Viagra.
They must be popping.
Or they're cheating at the strip club or something. I don't know.
Right. Or they're definitely popping Viagra, bitch. 100%.
They have to be like and it has to be with like younger women that they may or may not be paying for, because that's insane. But it's so interesting because I feel like with the last guy I was with and with a lot of men, I've gotten to this argument. Because I'll be like, men aren't shit, like, you know, like man hater, whatever. And then they'll be like, oh, like women be the same way. Like women cheat too. And I'm always like, no, they fucking don't, because I consider myself a very loyal person.
But yeah, they do.
But they do. And
do.
Like, that's crazy that like 11% of women over men. Interesting. I don't know.
It's
Maybe
crazy too. And I feel like, and it's like, have I ever cheated before? Like, probably not, but done cheat-like things, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I've definitely been, like, mad at a partner before and then, like, sent a quick flirty text and then, like, ghosted them and never did anything. But in the moment.
I don't think I've done that.
Well, aren't you just fucking perfect?
No, the closest I could get is, like, maybe, like, being too friendly with someone out or something like that. Like, when I'm drunk. But, like, I don't think I've ever, like, really cheated. But I do think there were times at the end of a relationship where it was about to be over, where we're kind of not even really completely talking and we know it's going to be over, and then I might have done something with someone else. Like, that has happened. But yeah.
The whole men and women thing, like, obviously this doesn't include, like, non-binary people, but I just wanted to include it because I feel like, one, it's interesting, and two, I feel like men think that, like, women are the ultimate cheaters, and, like, women think that men are the ultimate cheaters.
Yeah.
So it's like,
because we've both been hurt by the other one, you know?
Right. So, and I just think, like, humans are prone to cheating because maybe we shouldn't be doing monogamy, but we'll get into it. And also I feel like with cheating, you know, a lot of times it takes, like, a two-way street. Like, it kind of, we'll get into it later, but it's kind of, like, representative of, like, the current state of the relationship as well. So
we asked you guys what qualifies as cheating, and these are kind of, like, smaller things that aren't necessarily, like, just having sex with someone, which, you know, most people would consider cheating. The one that won by far is not disclosing that you're in a relationship, won by 56%. Then we have 27% swiping up on someone's story. Then right behind that at 15%, holding on to past gifts / letters from your ex. And then only at 2% having a girl BFF / guy BFF. And these are ones that I don't know if I would consider any of them cheating personally, except for me. I think swiping up on someone's story is the worst.
Okay, I think I wouldn't. To me, swiping up on someone's story, not cheating. Having a girl, guy, BFF, definitely not cheating. Holding on to past gifts, letters from your ex, definitely not cheating. Not disclosing that you're in a relationship, that's cheating, bro.
No. Okay, but the thing that it was hard for this poll because it was on Instagram.
What if someone did that to you?
Characters. No, we only had so many characters. It was supposed to be not disclosing that you're in a relationship to certain people.
Right.
So, like,
that's
I don't
different.
like. That's different. So maybe that changed the poll. But, like, I think swiping up on someone's story, like, not always. Like, you can swipe up and be like, oh, like, where's the afters, and you're with your partner, or like something like that. But, like, swiping up with heart eyes, I'm sorry, but that, to me, that's cheating.
Yeah.
That's cheating. Like, that's a direct, like, you're trying to get their attention and flirt. But, like, not disclosing you're in a relationship, to me, this comes off of this TikTok that I watched. And it was like, I wish I could find it, guys. I'll try to link it. But this girl was pretty much telling the story. She was on a plane going somewhere, and there was a girl in front of her and a guy, and they started talking, and they were, like, having this conversation, and the girl offered to buy him a drink. So she bought him a drink. They're communicating, talking, da-da-da. And then she offers to buy him another drink. He was like, no, I'm good, thanks. They keep talking, and she says something about, oh, like, are we falling in love right now? Or, like, whatever. And he was like, oh, like, no, I have a girlfriend. And she was like, you waited, like, 2 hours into this conversation to tell me you have a girlfriend? And he was like, well, like, we were just talking. Like, I wasn't trying to be, like, weird. Like, it was just a conversation. And then she made a whole scene about it. Like, it was a whole thing. She, like, followed him out. Like, she was like, let's call your girlfriend right now. Like, it was, like, a whole thing. And she was like, when is it appropriate to disclose you're in a relationship versus not? So that's how I was thinking about it. Because I'm like, I'm not gonna, every person I talk to of the same sex, of the other sex, whatever, because I'm attracted to both, I'm not gonna be like, I have a boyfriend. I have a girlfriend.
Me either. Yeah.
You know, and you can have like because I've been in a lot of conversations with people where they think we're flirting, but I'm being friendly. And like, when is the right time to disclose you're in a relationship? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like a casual, first of all, on a plane, everyone talks, sweetheart. That does not mean you're falling in love. That's psycho
And
behavior.
she bought him a drink.
That's crazy, honestly. Like, that's unfortunate. But I think that the only time it would be cheating is if someone flirted with you and you didn't turn it down and you didn't say you were in a relationship. Then that's cheating.
But what is the line of flirting? Because like
a direct,
you know what I'm
flirt.
saying? Like someone like being like, oh, like you look whatever, or oh, I don't know.
That's the thing, because like honestly, I want to say yes. Like if I was dating someone and someone went up to her and was like, you look really good tonight, she was like, but no, it's like, oh, thank you, and then you move on.
Because like I am thinking of like, just this happens to me.
If it goes
like,
further than that. Because here's what I was going to say real quick. It's just that like when they say, oh, you look good tonight, and you're like, I have a boyfriend. They're like, oh, and they get so thrown and they think like, oh, like I wasn't even trying to hit at you like that.
Yeah.
And all that bullshit. And I would like to avoid that, please. You know what I mean? So if someone's like, you look good tonight, it's like, thanks. And they're like, what are you doing after this?
If they follow it up.
Oh, I have someone. Don't flirt with me.
Kinda.
Yeah. You know what? Here's what I've decided. This is the ideal scenario. You're at a coffee shop. Someone's dancing around, flirting with you, not directly saying anything. Maybe you talk on and off for like an hour. They leave, whatever. Nothing happened. Then you text your partner, LOL, this person just like tried to flirt with me.
I don't think you should do that.
No,
though,
wait.
because...
You didn't hear me out.
Okay, go ahead.
This person said, I say, LOL, this, because I would do that. I'm telling you guys right the fuck now.
I used to.
That's some pick me shit, and I will do it. And I'd be like, this person just tried to flirt with me, like, haha. And then your partner's like, that's so cute. They thought they could, like, you're fucking mine. And then you kiki about it, and it's sexy.
Ideally, but in most relationships I've been in, I would tell them a story about that and someone being annoying, and then they'd be like, I would just give them this jealousy or this like whatever that they don't need. You know what I'm saying? So maybe sometimes it's better to keep it to yourself. I
think it's so fucking circumstantial at the end of the day. Like, and I feel like, honest to God, if you and your relationship are solid and y'all trust each other and you are not planning on cheating, flirting with anyone, it doesn't even matter. Like, just do whatever, because at the end of the day, like, if you're not going to cheat, you're not going to do the bad thing, like, just fucking get out of the conversation and move on. So it's like, we don't need to get so caught up in the nuances, and I don't think your partner should get mad at you if you handle the situation slightly badly and you got tripped up and we're like, because like someone's flirting with you, you're like die hard in love with someone, but it's still like, we're humans. Like, we want to be told we look good by other people, not because we want to fuck them, but just because it's fucking community.
It's
like
natural. Yeah.
So it's just like, and you blush by accident. Like, it's fine. Like, this is just a quick thing, but I remember when I was dating my ex-boyfriend, we went to the dispensary and the security guard was a lesbian, and we were walking out, and I like literally like he was walking and I like turned around and like smiled at her all flirty because I'm fucking cracked out, and he like
lost it.
He was just like, you've never looked at me like that, like don't look at her like that.
Oh my God.
I'm like, yeah, because I know you, fool. Like, I was just I knew that you could probably catch me, but like, it's a girl. I thought you didn't care. Like, but they do. But anyway, so that's what I mean by cheat-like things. But he was right there. Like, I wasn't cheating.
Yeah.
I was just trying to make trouble is what I was doing.
Yeah. But you would be pissed if he did that, for sure.
Oh, I would go home and cry.
I would
immediately start crying.
Yeah, because, like, that's the thing, though. Like, when it's, like you doing it, you're like, why can't they understand? Like, da-da-da-da. But then when it's them doing it, all of a sudden your, like, entire, like, self-worth is wrapped up in, like, you know, comparing yourself to other people. So it's, like, I don't know. Like, ideally you have a relationship with someone where you have this, like, solid just like trust and you talk about these things where it's like you can have a casual conversation with someone at the coffee shop. You can have a moment of sexual tension with the fucking doorman woman,
And that's like,
and be fine.
and that's why it always brings me back to like non-monogamy, because like that's like a big like universal thing in like poly people, like communities. It's just like, I can't like give my partner everything. Like I recognize that like her getting hit on by a stranger at the coffee shop is like cute and innocent, makes her feel good. I want her to feel good. Like I want her to get all of the flirting that she needs. So it's like, but yeah, at the end of the day, it just comes back to trust. But I think in this poll too, the one that's about like holding on to past gifts and letters, I don't think that's cheating at all. Like I think there's sentimental value in everything. I had held on to my ex-boyfriend stuff. Like I went to a wedding with him and we have this like fancy picture of us looking like all dressed up. Like we're like together, happy forever. And I did like cut it in half and burn it like about like 4 months ago.
I love that.
So that shit's gone. I pretty much got rid of everything him related. But I held on to a box from my first girlfriend for so long. I don't have it anymore because I moved to LA and like I didn't bring it with me.
Like, I can't,
but it had rose petals in it, incense she bought me, like the last one, because I was like, I can't use it. Like I have to hang on to it. She got it for me, and just all these trinkets. Like I think it's fine if you're like sleeping with your ex's t-shirt every day and crying. Maybe that's cheating. But if you just have it in your closet attracting dust, like I think it's fine.
Yeah, like I have a box of stuff, I think at my parents' house that's like exes from like high school, like their letters, like all that shit. Like haven't touched it in years. I will say with my last ex, I got rid of all of his clothes, like all his shit. Like I kind of fucked up because I gave some of his clothes to a friend of mine and friends of mine, and then I see them wear the clothes sometimes, which kind of like... Yeah, still. But, like, it's fine. Like, I fucked up. They were nice clothes. Like, some of them were, like, True Religion shit and, like, whatever. Like, I didn't think that it would bother me. Like, I thought it was fine. But, like, I don't know. Whatever. That's a whole other thing. But, like, I did take a box of stuff from my ex to the new place. And I feel like I'm, like, iffy about it. But I haven't opened it since I've, like, lived here. And, like, part of me, I don't know if this is just me, like, being... romanticizing shit or nostalgic. I'm like, what if I have like a daughter one day and I want to be like, this was my ex? Like, I don't know. Like, you feel me? Like, my mom has showed me yearbook pictures of her and her high school boyfriend, and it's like, oh, like she was a whole person outside of just my dad. Like,
right.
You know, like, I don't know. Like, it's not like they have sentimental value. Like you said, like, I'm gonna fucking cuddle his t-shirt every fucking night.
Right.
But it's more just like, maybe I should get rid of it, but I don't think. I still have pictures on my phone too, like they pop up every occasion.
Oh, same.
But I'm like,
I have not deleted any pictures of any ex I've ever had because
yeah,
honest to God, it's like all those relationships like definitely made me who I am today. Like some put me back and some pushed me forward. Like I truly believe that. So it's like I don't want to pretend it didn't happen. Like even with my ex-boyfriend who like religiously fucked me over multiple fucking times. Mm-hmm. Like even him, like I still want those pictures because like I had so many life experiences with him. Like I grew so much. Like I was with him when I was like 21 to like 23, 24 or 22 to 24, whatever it was. Like those are prime years. Like I looked hot. Like I want those pictures. You know?
Yeah, and like honestly, this also makes me think of like, because one of the things with the last guy I was talking about, like one of the things he said was that I talked about my ex too much. And I do feel like maybe I did. And like you guys know, like we talk about our exes and our past relationships all the time on the podcast, but it's more just like us giving like examples and like showing experiences. But like I feel like me and you, and like correct me if I'm wrong, but like I feel like we both feel like those relationships like shaped who we are and we grew with those people. And like you say, like your mom says, it's a picture, you hang it up on the wall.
You
and
remember
you move
that?
on.
Isn't that a great?
I love that.
Me too.
But like, I don't mind talking about, I'm not going to pull out letters that my ex wrote me and show them to my next person. Like that's crazy.
No.
But I don't mind talking about like my exes or them talking about their exes with me, because it's like, I want to know, like, you spent years with this person, you grew from that. I want to know about that. I want to know what you learned about relationships. Like, it's hard to talk about your growth without talking about your ex.
Especially when it was an intense, long relationship, like, especially with you, like, you guys live together. Like, that's a whole experience, like, the first partner you live with. Like, I haven't even had that yet. And I feel like that's something that does come up in relationships. Like, have you lived with someone before? Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think, like, when people say you talk about your ex too much, like, either they're right and you do talk about them too much, or it's, like, an insecurity thing. And I feel like we wouldn't talk about our exes that much if we didn't have this podcast. It's not like I go out with my friends and I'm like, yeah, like, he fucked me, like, in the car.
I feel like I do and did talk about my ex, like, too much to a point, but it's like, that was my, like, I was isolated in this psychotic, crazy world for, like, a long time. But, like, also in, like, instances, like, I was talking to my therapist about it, and she was like, well, you shouldn't talk about your ex because, like, that's your own healing, and that's, like, you and no one else's. So, like, you shouldn't. Like, and I don't feel like I was talking about it in that way, but, like, what instances of, like, misogyny or, like, sexual abuse, not sexual abuse, domestic violence or whatever come up, like, I'm going to bring that up because I'm like, that's something I went through and I'm not cool with, like, you know,
as
those
you
types
should,
of things.
though.
But at the same time, I do feel like I've learned that, and, like, I have this idealistic view of things that, like, we can talk about stuff, and that's not everyone. But I would like a person where I can be like, oh, I'm not going to share every detail and every happy memory of my ex, but I want to share the things I learned because I want to bring that into this relationship, like the growth part, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And then this last one, having a girl best friend, guy best friend, like, we can agree that's definitely not cheating. But I will say that you guys know I can be toxic sometimes. And, like, especially with my ex-girlfriend, like, she does have a guy best friend. And I have give her shit about it. Granted, he's admitted to loving her many a time. So it's different, one? Right? The most recent one?
Oh, I didn't know she had a guy best friend. Okay.
Well, yeah, they're not as close anymore, but, like, when we were together, like, it was a thing. I was like, oh, you're with him? Like, because I'm just so, and I, like, come on the podcast and I'm like, I want to be, like, non-monogamous. It's like, no, you don't, Autumn, but I do. I just like.
It's hard when it's the other way. Like, yeah, because, like, I've had this, like, one of my friends in high school, and, like, we stayed friends through college, like, you met him, like, and he's bisexual too, like, we were, like, super close, and, like, we had sex, like, once when we were in high school, but, like, never anything since then. But, like, our friendship was, like, complicated. Like, we would cuddle, like, we were kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was very, like, platonic at the same time, but, like, also very loving. And, like, one of my ex-boyfriends was, like, okay with it because he had a similar, like, girl best friend like that. And, like, after we broke up the first time, they ended up having sex, and I remember being, like, weird about it, whatever, because it's always harder when it's the other person versus you.
100%.
Like, so much harder. But it's like, girl best friends and guy best friends, like, I think it just comes down to trust, because, like, you should be able to have friends of the other sex. Like, is it complicated if that person clearly has, like, feelings for your partner, or they have a sexual history? Like, even with my other ex, I was still friends with this guy from high school, and he came and, like, stayed with me for a little bit, and he was, like, all, like, mad about it, like, upset, like, oh, you slept in the same bed, like, whatever. And I'm like, no, you don't get it. And I think I shared too much. Like, I was like, oh, like, we had sex once, but it doesn't mean anything. Like, I really feel like you should never say that.
Don't say that.
Like, even how you said, like, oh, I was at the coffee shop and someone flirted with me. Like, I feel like I used to be very open like that, but I need to learn to not be, because it's just like how we were saying with the other woman episode. Like, people don't want to, like, it's giving them a reason to be insecure.
I know. Like, I need to learn that with my roommate too, because, like, we've been friends for, like, 7 years, and, like, I always tell people, like, oh yeah, like, we used to flirt, but, like, we've been platonic for so long. Idiot. Stupid.
Yeah.
I don't need to tell them that. It was so long ago. It doesn't even feel like the same lifetime. Like, literally, not to be dramatic.
And you guys have not been like that at all since. And it's like, I know that because I know you. You know that. But, like, it's so hard when it's this other person and they may have been cheated on with their person and their roommate. Like, it's so like they're sensitive too, and like working through that sometimes it's just better to just don't ask, don't tell.
Right. And I'm just like, through all of this, it's like if you have like amazing trust and communication and like a solid foundation, like at the end of the day, like none of this shit honestly even matters, because like you trust each other so hard, you do the right thing, like you forgive each other and like accept each other, like not like put so much pressure on all this shit, because it's a lot, you know? And like, so it's like, how do we define cheating? I feel like it's literally just a whole thing about
It depends
trust.
on the relationship. But like I feel like what we want is a utopia that I don't think we're ever gonna get to.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because
Absolutely.
like it's not just them, which is hard as fuck to find someone who thinks that way, but also ourselves.
Ourselves, babe. I know. And that's why it's fucking hard as fuck. All right. So let's go into this next study that we found. And it's basically kind of just like, how do we define cheating? What qualifies as cheating? So we just talked about like what you guys thought in our polls. But basically, this study said 88% of women and 79% of men agree that emotional infidelity can occur independently of sexual infidelity. So meaning emotional cheating. You know, you don't have to fuck someone for it to be cheating. 71% of women and only 54% of men believe that sexual infidelity can happen without emotional investment. Meaning like, if you fuck someone but you don't like them, it's fine.
Yeah.
But it's like they're saying like it can't okay, they're saying that you can fuck someone and just because you don't have feelings for them, it's still cheating. That's what they're saying.
Got it. Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if that's 71% of women think that, and then also 80% of women and 66% of men consider forming an emotional attachment with someone else as an act of cheating. So that's just like a more clear emotional cheating. And then the smaller percentages are like only 16% view attending important events with someone other than their partner as a form of cheating. So that's like if you go to a wedding without your partner, you go with someone else. And that's like a low percentage because like that's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then 15% consider lying to a partner about their whereabouts and spending time with someone else as an act of unfaithfulness. So that's like, because it's like maybe you could say you're somewhere that you're not, but you're not doing anything unfaithful. You just don't want to say where you are. I think that's okay. But if you're saying you're someone else while you're fucking someone or even just, you know, building an emotional attachment, then that's cheating. Like,
yeah.
And then the last one is 71% of women and a significant portion of men, 56%, consider hand holding as a type of cheating. That's fucking stupid. What are we, 12?
Yeah. Who are you just holding hands with? Like, what if it's like a work bonding thing?
And I
That's
think
kinda
this
weird,
study
but,
was like people, like older, like people. Like I feel like, especially not even our age, but like younger than us. Like, I don't know. They don't be like holding hands like that anymore. Maybe they do. Who holds hands? I hate holding hands.
I don't like holding hands. My hands get sweaty.
But it's just interesting. So it's like, I feel like men and women agree a lot on the most of these, but the one where it's like 71% of women and 54% of men believe that sexual infidelity can happen without emotional involvement. Like men is significantly lower for that one.
But I do feel like that also because I hate being like, oh, men and women are like different about certain things. But I do feel like that's like when men cheat, it can be just sex without emotions. But with women, it's a little harder. Not to say like I've had sex with people without any emotional involvement whatsoever. But I feel like that statistic comes from men thinking that like women have their emotions wrapped up.
Right, because that is one of those stereotypes that's like kind of scientifically true just because of the oxytocin and all of that. But I think that it's not as true as men make it out to seem because there's so many women that do that. I mean, we've done that so many times. You know what I mean?
Not cheating, but like
not
in
cheating.
general, just having sex.
Yeah, having sex without emotional attachment. Yeah, not cheating. Let's make that
If they make
crystal.
me come, actually, that's not always true. I've had people make me come where I was like, ew.
Yeah, because it's like they
But-
make you come, and that's what's different. But same, like that girl that made me come, and then I cried and like yelled at your ex
Yeah.
and was like, "Get the fuck out and all that
Validly.
shit. That was not
Yeah.
me being in love with that girl. Like that, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, it depends.
It was you surprised at yourself kind of thing.
I was pissed. I was like, how'd you make me come? But
how do you make me come? Yeah.
yeah, and it's just like, it's interesting too, just because when I was like doing research for this episode, it's all very like men and women and very binary. Like who cheats more? What qualifies as cheating? What do men think? What do women think? Because I think it is like different. Like this survey made it seem like we're kind of aligned, but it's always just hard because it's like, how old are those people? And it's like, you know what I mean? And I think I would love to have a survey that's like just people in our age group, because I think like hand holding wouldn't be on there. It would be more like swiping up on the story and all that shit.
And I think it's different too for like queer people, and like even how we did that TikTok that was like what's cheating and like lesbian edition, like whatever. Like I think certain things aren't cheating as much if it's a woman versus a man. Like I don't know. And then also like I feel like with queer women too and queer men, I feel like it's a big thing with gay men to have, and it's a stereotype, but in my experiences with the gay male friends I've had, like are more comfortable with like having threesomes or being like sexually explorative and things like that. And also with queer women, like not as much, but I don't know if you know who like Easy is and what's Natalie, Easy and Natalie, and what's the other girl's name? She was like on The Circle. They're like lesbian influencers, like YouTube. Okay, they're like kind of corny. Like a lot of their content is like, but like they'll always do these like goofy like pranks with where they're like flirting with the other one's girlfriend, and like they have to be like, they're like cool with it because it's like a prank and it's like a YouTube stunt or whatever.
Yeah.
But they definitely like. And they played like drinking games where they would be like, which one of our girls would you fuck, and like stuff like that. So they have this friend group that's like more just like open about like the blurred lines of like what cheating is, because they're there with their partner.
Right.
So I feel like queerness definitely like plays into it too. It's hard when it's just like men and women and like we look at it so heterosexually, but I don't know. Like what do you think is, this made me think like, what do you think is worse? Like, would you rather have someone cheat on you sexually or have someone cheat on you emotionally? Like, what do you think you could come back from the easiest?
I 100% without a fucking doubt in my fucking mind think emotional cheating hurts way more. And I think that has to do heavily with me being in open relationships where we were allowed to fuck other people, but we were not allowed to date. We were not allowed to pursue, not with my first girlfriend, with my ex-boyfriend. Like, we were not allowed to do emotional shit. And, like, I got so numb to the idea of him fucking other people. I literally didn't even care anymore. But I saw him smile at a text once, and I lost it because I was like, oh, and we're done. And we broke up 3 weeks later. Like, I knew that he had like moved on with someone, and it was past casual. But I think emotional cheating hurts more so much. But I also think it also has to do with like me being like a really sexual person. Like, I was working in the strip club. Like, sex is kind of just like, like, you know.
Yeah, I feel that. Like, I definitely completely agree. I feel like sex is like easier to come back from. The only thing, I think sex can be hard too, though, because it can also make you look at yourself like, am I not enough sexually? Which can be complicated, but I think I'd rather them cheat with sex versus, like, I don't know,
take
though,
someone
like,
on a romantic getaway, like that.
But
hurt.
like, what if it's like the like girl best friend, guy best friend thing, where they like seek this like emotional support from someone that doesn't cross a sexual boundary, but it's emotional. This person is providing comfort and like love and like whatever, but like it could be platonic. Like then
point, and I think it's wrong and it's incorrect, but I would hate that. I would absolutely hate that, bro. But not because it's cheating, not because they shouldn't do that. It's because I would get jealous about the fact that like they have this person that they feel so close to emotionally and they can rely on them like no one else. But that's good. I honestly think like your best friend should be that person for you more than your partner sometimes. And I think especially in the lesbian community, they fuck that up real bad because we're both girls, and it's like, you know, you can be best friends in your straight relationship, but when you both share the same fucking hormones and periods, like, I'm sorry, it's just different. But I think that I would incorrectly not like that. But I think it's okay and fine. And that's just on me needing to grow.
Yeah, I agree. Cause like I feel like the thing with me, like honestly, I feel like I'm really good in the beginning of relationships of being very like accepting of their other like guy, girl, best friends, like who they talk to, like their past people if they have fucked them before. I think what always has fucked me up, and like even with the last guy I was seeing, like we ended, like he ended things with me and then we got back together, but like I never pressed him about other girls or anything like that, but he did have like a girl friend that I knew about and like whatever. But like after we got back together, like again I started to trip more about like, oh, maybe there's another girl in the picture, like whatever. So I feel like I'm good as long as it stays good, but then the second it seems like they're weird with me is when I feel like I would lose it.
Right. And I
You
think
know?
that's like if you had someone where it was more solid and you trusted them, I don't think you would trip about it as much. I think you tripped about it because you were feeling weird in the relationship situationship. You were feeling
Yeah.
weird in it and you needed something concrete to be like, maybe this is why, because he wasn't giving you anything. And it's obviously off-putting. It's like, again, like jealousy is fucking normal. Like it does, if you get jealous, it does not automatically make you insecure. But it's
Right.
like these patterns of being jealous, these things that you know, like you probably shouldn't make you as upset as it does because it doesn't mean anything. That's when like the insecurity comes into play. But I think it's different with guys too, like when they have a girl best friend, because especially if they're straight, like maybe if they're bi or something, it's different. I'm sorry. But like straight men to me are just such fucking animals. I'm like, there's no way. And there's like women and people out there that like fully believe that like straight heterosexual people can't be friends, like point blank
Yeah.
period. And
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. I think
Me
that they
neither.
can. But if we're talking majority and like my man had a girl best friend, I would be nervous that like one day like he would realize she was the one because she's been around for him all this time. Like he really doesn't want to fuck her that bad. I wouldn't believe it.
Yeah,
But I
see,
know
I
it's
don't
fucked up.
know. Because like my ex, the one I dated in college, like he had a girl best friend that he was friends with all through high school. Like they stayed friends in college, and I thought she was like a little weird towards me. Like it was like she was like a little territorial,
Uh-huh.
like wanted to be my best friend like super bad. And
Yeah,
like
see,
I said,
that's
they did
weird.
fuck. They did. I think she liked him more than he liked her, or whatever. Because they did fuck like after we broke up, and then we got back together. And he told me. I kind of wish he like didn't tell me, like, because I feel like it made me insecure. But like with her, I wasn't really worried, and I don't know if it's just like the type of guy like he was, but like I was also like. They've been friends for like 3-4 years. Like before I was in the picture, like if something was gonna happen or like whatever, like it would have happened. And
Yeah.
also like it, like just like me with my guy best friend, so like the I don't know, like I feel like you can, but it's usually I don't know actually, because I feel like every guy best friend I've ever had, they would fuck me if they could. But I think they could fuck me without feeling like like in love with me.
Yep. I agree
I feel
with
like
that.
it's like an animal thing.
Excuse me. Oh, fuck the light. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, it really is giving animal because it's just like, I feel like, honestly, a lot of times they might fuck their girl best friend and then, like, regret it and be like, fuck, she was just a friend. But their animal instincts take over and they just have to put their dick in her or something. So, I don't know because I hate, because again, I think it's wrong. You are allowed to have a guy, girl best friend, whatever fucking gender you are, but it does get tricky and like people have feelings. Sorry. Like, can we just work through it? I don't know. I don't want to be demonized as being like some jealous bitch because that's something to be jealous about. Like,
Yeah, and that's the thing, like jealousy, like it's so fucking hard because it's like I really feel like through like thought work and like spending time alone and like appreciating your like stepping back from the situation is like healthy for you to like breathe out this jealousy and not like immediately act on it.
yeah.
But like it's so much easier said than done. And I feel like it depends on like what this person has put you through. Because like with my ex, like he had cheated on me again. I like I feel like part of it was my fault because it's like I chose to take him back. Like if someone cheats on you and you take them back, it is partially like it is your responsibility.
I hate when you say that.
It is though. It's like
Okay.
so, it's like literally
Agree
like
to
your
disagree.
responsibility though to get over it, because it's like if you're like, yes, this person has to like prove things to a point, but like also holding this over them forever and like
not.
making yourself a more jealous and insecure person only hurts both of you.
Yeah.
So like I really feel like don't take them back until like you're ready. But like once you take them back, you can't you can't hold that over them. And
yeah,
I did that.
You have one big conversation about it, you cry, whatever, and then you have to move on. And if you can't move on, then it's like you should break up with them. But it's like, this is all what you should do. And it's like, not to mention it's fucking hard. Like, you love someone, they cheat on you. They're so sorry. Like, they want to fight for you back. Like, I would have a hard time saying no, because I'm all about that dramatic shit.
Oh my
so if
God,
they did
the
something
on and
bad and I was like, oh my God, you hurt me, and they're like, no, but I can't live without you, I'm gonna die, I'm like, okay, I'm down. No, just kidding, it wouldn't be that easy, but yeah, you have to move on from it, otherwise you're not gonna end up with them. Like, it's gonna crumble slowly. If anything, just give it time, and then if they're right for you, you guys will find your way back again, no question.
Yeah, but that's like the like with like again, like I feel like I think about all these things in like this utopia world where it's like ideally I wouldn't be mad about them having this emotional relationship with another friend, or like ideally, even if we were together for like, say we were together 15 years and they have sex with one person on like a drunk fucking someone's bachelor party, I don't even know, and then they tell me and like whatever, like I do want to believe you can like come back from cheating and you can come back from all these things. Same. But like
you definitely
that is so much work.
Much work.
Inner work. It's not, and that's the thing I think a lot of people fuck up. It's not just work between the two of you, but it's work in yourself too. Even if you were the one cheated on, if not more so. Like, I don't know.
And even if you were the cheater too, because sometimes like I don't know, the person could get super down on themselves, like think they're a fucking monster and just feel shitty. Like, even they need to like find peace and move on.
Well, even, you know who I'm thinking of, like who I feel like is like the like icon for cheating in like America is like Tristan Thompson. Like,
why am I so
Khloe Kardashian. You don't know?
Oh, like with Courtney, right? Or no, with Chloe. Tristan, the basketball player.
He cheated on her. I feel like he
so
cheated
many
on her before,
times.
and then when she was pregnant, and then again, like kept fucking up. And I was recently watching the Kardashians. Did you see the episode?
Not the
where
new
he
one.
He was like talking to Kylie. I feel like they're setting it up like they're gonna get back together, even though like Khloe seems like over it, because he had a conversation with Kylie, because remember he cheated with Jordan.
I love like when Kylie's best like friend. Featured in the episodes.
You like her? I
She's
feel like
my favorite.
Really?
But
Kim or Courtney are my favorites.
Yeah, I know. I love Kylie because I just think, like, when she was like in her short blue hair era, I just thought she was so fucking cool. Like, I miss that really Kylie. Cool. Yeah.
She is really cool, but she was pretty much saying to him, like, she's like, because, you know, like, when you cheat, Tristan has to have guilt. I feel like he doesn't take it seriously enough. I don't fucking know. Khloe just seems so fucking over it, exhausted, like whatever. But it's like he has to like now make amends with like everyone in her family.
It's
because
he
had sex with her like best friend, her sister's best friend, and like all that shit. Like, I feel like a lot of cheaters will like get back together with the person out of guilt, but not really like do the work. Like, they're not really getting back together with them for the right reason.
And maybe cheat again.
Know? Yeah,
it is
like
a
rebound
cycle,
thing.
you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. We have one more piece of research that we read, essentially this article on Psychology Today. And essentially they were just like talking about cheating and asking all these questions about like, you know, cheating in general. So I just thought we'd like talk about them as like conversation points. You feel me? Okay. Mm-hmm. So the first one, which I think is like stupid, but a lot of people actually think this. But the question that they talked about was, can cheating happen when you aren't married? I don't think it's stupid. I think like if you actually believe that, like go off. Like we even had a listener submit that like hot take, cheating isn't real unless you're married. And I think that logic doesn't apply, one, because not everyone wants to get married. So it's like, what, you're just never can be cheated on just because you're not married? What if you don't want to get married? And I'm someone that, like, wants to get married, but at the same time, I think I would be very content not getting married also. Like, I want to have, like, a celebration of love, but I don't necessarily need to sign court documents. That's not what I want.
The only reason I would is for, like, if I died and, like, my will and, like, they could get, I feel like that's
and, like,
the only
maybe
reason
kids
I would.
for me too would be another reason. So yeah, I feel that. But I feel like for me, the biggest thing is, like, I do want a ring one day. We don't need to sign anything, baby, but you better buy me that ring because I want it. And I want to have a party. So both of those things are important to me. Not just like a party, like definitely like some sort of like celebration of love. Like if they're spiritual, like we could do some like cool shit or whatever. But that's why I don't like that. But I definitely think you can cheat when you aren't married. If you're in a relationship with someone and you establish that you're not going to talk to anyone else, if you do, that's cheating.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't think you can use the cop out, well, we weren't married, like it's not cheating. If you're dating this person and you never talked about what is cheating. And like that's another thing. Like I know these things are like so awkward and like iffy to talk about and like not fun, but like I really feel like the more and the older we get, like you gotta fucking talk about this with your partner. Like if you're gonna decide to commit to someone, and even if you're in a situationship, whatever, I feel like you gotta be like, what is cheating to you and what is not, because like you need to, otherwise you might run into something later where they think you're cheating and you're not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you really got to have that conversation.
Right.
So it's okay if you believe that, but like your partner needs to believe that too, because
and at the end of the day, like cheating is so broad. We all have different definitions. Like some people think like if you're in a relationship and you smile at a girl for a little too long across the room, that's cheating.
If you like someone's photo.
And some people think you have to just fuck them or love them. Like it's point blank, that period. Like they don't give a fuck about all the little shit. But some people really do. So you might like hurt your partner unintentionally. And maybe you need to adjust if you want to be with them because you're like, that wasn't cheating. I think you need help. But regardless, you still don't want to hurt them like that. So it's like if they have a trauma where like their last ex left them for the bartender and then they see you flirt a little with the bartender. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, so it's really awkward. I definitely don't want to have that conversation with anyone. But I think, like, if it's the right relationship, y'all feel comfortable around each other. Like, you can make it fun. Like, it can be one of those, like, late night talks where you're just, like, drinking together and you're just kind of, maybe you're high. Like, you're just kind of, substances help, you guys. I'm not going to lie.
But they also heighten emotions. Like, I've definitely like had like with my last situationship, we would have like long deep talks where I thought we were on the same page about a lot of things, but then like also like it can go off a route where like misogyny would happen and all of a sudden I'm mad. Like, you feel me? So like sometimes maybe it's better not to, but like also I have one of those conversation starter games where it's like little like prompts. Like
that's like what I'm doing right now. Literally.
Exactly. Like you can like maybe you and your partner like write a bunch of questions and like on note cards and like that would be like fun and cute. Like do in a way where it's like you don't know like which one's popping up. It's not like a serious conversation like we need to talk about this.
But you're so right, because that shit, like you could start it so playfully and like the first question is like, do you like to be, like, what's your favorite position? Or, like, something stupid. And then the next one's, like, do you believe in God? It's like, so those things can get deep really quickly, especially when substances are involved and stuff. And so I feel like that's so funny because exactly, like, then they say something misogynistic and all of a sudden you're, like, fucking pissed and drunk.
Or about the state of your relationship, because that would happen to me with the dude. Like, I remember one night we had this, like, romantic-ass night where we, like, fucked in the pool late at night, da-da-da, and we were, like, talking. And then, like, something came up on the topic of, like, love and, like, if we could ever love again. And he was like, I don't think I could ever love again or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then I, like, threw a tantrum.
Right.
So, like, you know know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it can go there, but that's also like we weren't together. Like, I feel like it's better. Obviously, you need to get to know the person while.
But when you're kind of starting to build, because it's
Right.
less deep, and maybe you won't get as hurt as one of their responses. And like those deeper questions, like, do you believe in God? Like, you should talk about that. Still, like, those are things you should talk about. I just mean, like, it can be hard to talk about those things, and like depending on who the person is and all that shit. But I really like the note card idea, because I think it's cute. Like, you have the game, but if you like individually just like sat there for like 5 minutes, like writing out questions and then pulled them, I might use that with someone. Like, that's cute.
Also, there's this podcast, like, I don't listen to it all the time, but like, I love her and I need to read her book. But there's this woman named Esther Perel, and she's a relationship therapist. She has like a game like that where it's like questions to like deepen your relationships, and it's like very like there's therapy and science behind it, but they're prompts like that. I thought about buying it. Like, it's pretty fucking expensive.
How much
but
is
like
it?
It was like a good
like $100,
$60+
dollars. Okay, well, that's bad,
For
but
a
I thought it
game?
was gonna be worse.
But like, she's like a thought lead. Like, she's up there with like Brene Brown and like.
So
those
she's
people,
like you're paying for
she's
her
legit.
too a little bit.
And her podcast is interesting. Like, her podcast, like, she has like couples like do their therapy session in the podcast. Like, they agree to it's like I have to be in the right mood to listen to it, because I'm not always, and like some of them can be like kind of triggering. But like, yeah, like, she's really good, and she has like a question game like that. But I love the idea of writing your own, like you said. Like,
I know.
That's so
that
cute.
adds
I
an
wanna
extra
meet a person
element.
I could do that with.
I know, because it's like questions. It's not just like from the game. It's like questions they like want to know about you, because they wouldn't write it if they didn't. So it's like more specific. But you could throw in there, like, if someone smiles at me and like compliments me at the bar when I'm with you, like, would you say that's cheating if I say thank you? And then it's like, you're not fully together yet, so it's not that deep. Like, there's no cheating yet because you're not together. That's when it's like building is the best thing. And that's like really trending right now too, is like women not wasting their time, people not wasting their time in general. So it's like, instead of being like, here's all my boundaries, like, I've been through this, don't do this to me. Like, just keep it lighter and don't fall too fast. Like, take your fucking time with it.
And honestly, like,
that
guys,
part.
like, full transparency, we recorded the like 2023-2024 episode like before this, but I feel like that's a trend that we should have said that we didn't, but that I've learned this year, which is taking your fucking time, because I've rushed into fucking relationships. You have to, like,
I always do, like, every time.
At least, same.
Every
like,
time.
At least 3 months. I honestly think like
longer,
6, because me and the last guy were together 5 months. Like, you and this girl before were together what? Not long. Like, it takes a long time to get to know someone, is pretty much what I'm saying. So like, take your time and ask you don't need to ask these relationship questions when you're in a relationship. You should figure this stuff out for the most part before.
That's the biggest takeaway from this episode. If you guys fucking listen to this, before, because you're just, maybe it'll be fine, but what if it's fucking not? You know what I mean? So it's just like, and it's way less pressure. Again, it shouldn't be as scary if you guys aren't together yet, because you're just like playing around. You know what I mean? Like, it's good. Do you want to move on to the next question?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can read it. This is the next question from Psychology, if you want. I mean, no pressure.
Yeah, I'll read it. Okay, does it often parallel underlying relationship issues? So like, it meaning cheating?
Right.
And I feel like this is like a definite yes.
Definite yes, because yes, do sometimes people cheat out of nowhere because it's their ex or like they whatever. Yes, but I feel like, honest to God, like 97% of the time it's a two-way street, and it's like whether they're rightfully or wrongfully not happy in the relationship doesn't really matter, but that's why they're cheating. Like, they're seeking something else. I feel like when you cheat with your ex, like, that's kind of something different, because like, we all know I love exes. Exes hit different. Mm-hmm. It's because my fucking parents were together, broke up, and got back together. That is why I have a fucking ex problem. Yeah. Or I just love them. I don't know. But it's just like, anyways. But so I feel like that sort of thing is a little bit different, but just like baseline cheating, like it's something going on in the relationship or that person's an asshole, but mostly it's something.
Yeah, because I do think like a person could have a bad day. Like, this is a stretch. But they could have a bad, crazy, fucked up night where they're drunk out of their mind and they do something stupid and like there weren't any issues. And I do also feel like issues in the relationship can be complicated because it could be one person's doing everything they think they're supposed to and the relationship seems really good, but the other person who cheats has never communicated their anxiety and their issues.
Right.
So like I do feel like that can definitely happen where like there's one person who's like blindsided by this, like what the fuck, and then you find out this person's not happy and da-da-da, and it's like you couldn't have done anything because you didn't know that there was something wrong. Like I think that definitely exists,
right?
But that's still underlying issues in the relationship because like even if it's on one person, like they never communicated it, like whatever, and like you probably picked up a vibe. I don't know.
It's so complicated. I feel like when it's out of nowhere, it might kind of hurt more because you just go from thinking everything's okay to like it's not. Whereas like with my ex-boyfriend, I did experience like the slow burn. Like I saw him smiling at texts and like for like a week, and like I saw like he was kind of checking out. And then I remember he literally broke up with me like when we did our vlog in Halloween. So like after that trip, it was over, baby. Yeah. And I knew it. Like I knew it. So it was a slow burn and it still hurt. But I think the like out of nowhere shit like kind of hurts more because it's more of like you just like literally like fell on your face like all at once. So.
And that's the thing though too, because I feel like the out of nowhere shit can be complicated because it's like when you're the person being cheated on, which like I have been before, like I feel like at times I thought, oh, this is out of nowhere, and it's easier to demonize that person for being like, oh, you fucked up our relationship. I was doing so, like we were so good, da 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 da. When actually, if you really reflected on it, like there were probably things leading up to that, and I think I did that with my ex. Like there was definitely shit, and I feel like honestly, like still like more on his side than mine, but like either way, like there was still like. You could have seen it coming or like whatever, but it's easier to just blame it all on that person because they're the one that like really fucked up, whereas you were so loyal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like I think it parallels underlying issues in the relationship, no matter if it's wrong or right, like at the end of the day. But that I think most times it is because the cheater is not communicating how they feel. But I don't know. And it's like, I think about me and you, like you're like loyal as fuck in relationships. Not that I'm not, but like you guys just don't. Fiji is just like different. Cause you just like.
To a fault. But like, I honestly feel like it is like to a fault. Like, I feel like being loyal is a great thing. Yeah. But like, I'm often loyal to like the wrong people and like will be loyal to them if they cheated on me, if they whatever. And that's not like a great thing, you know? So.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I don't know. It's like weird. I definitely am loyal. I just like, again, like I really do like crave this independence. Just like Fletcher, like she talks about it all the time and I really just relate. And it's something that I haven't been able to feel in a relationship besides my open relationships because like I almost said her name, like my first girlfriend, like we would go out separately and like I would like have a good time and like would it be hard when she told me she hooked up with someone? Yeah, but like we got through it, you know, and at the end of the day, I was able to like feel that fiercely independent rush and also be in love with someone and be committed to them. So it was ideal, but open relationships are just hard. So that was definitely like my favorite thing about it though, is because I really crave that. And I think that's what like holds me back and I do cheat like things because I just want to feel that I'm just like not tied down basically.
Yeah, and I feel that because honestly, like, it depends on how you look at it. Like, I do feel like I think we're going to get into this in a minute. I'll just wait because I think we're going to get into it in a minute. Actually.
Okay. All right, this next question from Psychology Today that they were discussing, we already kind of talked about it, but should you define what cheating is directly with your partner, have a convo about it? And again, obviously, we feel like, yes, we just talked about it. But have I done that? No. Do I feel like other people do that? No. And because it's awkward, and that's why we brought up the game, because it's like a fun way to do it. But essentially for a long-lasting relationship, eventually you fucking need to, because like I said, you're going to unintentionally fuck up.
Everything. And I feel like this is why ethical monogamy might be trending, because it's ethical non-monogamy, sorry. But we should have ethical monogamy too, honestly.
I've definitely said ethical monogamy in this episode, right? I feel like, bro.
But ethical non-monogamy, you have to define what the relationship is. Like DTR, like define the relationship. I want to do an episode on that like eventually, because I feel like situationships are a big thing, like committing, like what is all of that. But like an ethical non-monogamy, you have to talk about these things, because like there's boundaries and there's not. But like isn't it so crazy that like non-monogamous partners have those conversations?
That's so true, because I lied. I just lied blatantly, because I have done that. I did that with my first girlfriend and my ex-boyfriend. And you know what? It's fucking easier as fuck.
Yeah.
Because you still have some freedom. It's not the typical you can't touch, look, breathe, or think at anyone. Yeah. It's like, for me, it's always been like, you can do what you want sexually as long as you wear protection. And if you don't, you tell me. Like, you know what I mean?
Which
like,
is complicated with women a little bit too.
Right.
Because it's like, yeah.
Totally. And then I don't want to know who it is. And I don't want you taking someone out on an expensive dinner, riding around in limos, which he did that. So you know what I mean? It's like those. And that's why, like, during this episode, I was going to be like, you don't want cheating? Just go non-monogamous. But that's a fucking lie, because you can still cheat in non-monogamy, especially the ethical non-monogamy, because if you break a boundary, that is cheating in like the poly space. So, and that can hurt really bad, because oh my God, my chest is so red, you guys.
I know. I think
I'm just hot. I think I'm just hot. I'm drinking too. Just ignore it. I'm giving funeral right now. Slutty funeral. But yeah, so that's why, and it's so interesting. I think I didn't remember it because it wasn't this intense thing. It was something that we needed to do. Like there was no question. Like we had to do it.
Yeah.
And like his fucked up rule is like, you can do whatever you want with girls, but you can't fuck guys, which joke's on him. Like I was like, yes, the fuck I can, sir. And it was kind of a joke that I couldn't, but I knew that I could, because that's only fair. But anyways, so yeah, it's interesting. And with my first girlfriend, we had different rules. Like with the ex-boyfriend, I kind of told him what it is. And I was like, if I'm going to be with you, this is what it is. Take me or leave me. But with her, it was very more like, this is what I want. And she's like, this is what I want. Like she wanted to know who I was talking to, if I did anything. She wanted to know, because she said it made her feel closer to me and like more trust. And I didn't want to know, because I simply couldn't fucking handle it. And she respected that. Even though she wanted to know, she respected that I didn't. So that was pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah, that's honestly like really cool that she did want to know, because I feel like I'm the same.
I felt weird telling her.
Yeah, that definitely like.
I was like,
it's so hard.
I like you more though.
But I feel like that's dope as fuck that like you had that experience, and then like you didn't think of it, but like you did, like you said, like you told him what it was, take it or leave it, with like your rules about things, and like you had that like experience. So it's just so crazy to me that like non-monogamous people can define cheating better than monogamous. Like that's
I know.
Crazy.
And it's so crazy to me that my first relationship ever, the first person I actually fell in love with, it was non-monogamous. Like, that's kind of fucking baller, honestly. Might be pick me, but that's kind of cool. Because I was so young, and I literally grew up, like, and it was just, like, I don't know. I feel like it was really good for me, especially because I have been, like, a little insecure, jealous child my whole life. Like, you know, like, with everything. With, you know, my mom's not spending enough time with me. Like, I was very... So I think it helped me grow, and it helped me understand intellectually, at least, like why this is happening, even if emotionally, like I haven't fully caught up yet. But I know it's like non-monogamists are doing it better, low key.
Like, and that's like, honestly, like, not to bring up like my situationship again, which I keep fucking doing, but like I feel like that was one of the issues with us, is I wanted to think me and him could do something like somewhat non-monogamous, whatever. But like, I think he very much looked at relationships from a very like monogamous like way. And I still do,
traditional,
for the most part. But like, I was still more open to being like, there's more than just we're together, we're going on the track of getting married, having kids. And I feel like he wasn't like on that, but like he wasn't where we are, where it's like, I feel like honestly, like it brought me and you closer as friends that you were in that relationship, because I had thought about non-monogamy a lot before and like read about it and all this stuff, and then you were in it and I was like, that's so cool, like da da da. Like I feel like it really like grew you, and also me watching you through that experience, like as people,
you were right by my side, bitch, for everything.
Yeah, and it was rough. Like it was definitely still like rough, but like I also feel like looking at that compared to like some of the relationships I'm in, and I would be like, okay, like it's nice to know there's another option beyond like this
exactly
just one thing.
And that's what,
you know?
Yeah. No, go ahead.
But a lot of us like don't, and that's how I felt with my situationship. I'm like, I feel like whoever you were with in the past, whatever's been fed to you, da da da, like you just like your view of relationships is like smaller, and it is hard to bring up that conversation because I feel like there's a stigma around people who are ethically like honestly, not gonna lie, if I see someone's ethically non-monogamous on their Hinge, I'm less likely to swipe, which is fucked up because I could feel that way.
But I think you're also protecting yourself. You're like, okay, like I might be ready for a relationship, but I don't know if I'm ready for all that, because it's a lot. Like if you don't feel like inclined, like it's something you have to do to be happy, then it's a lot to kind of wrap your brain around. And I honestly blame it a lot on society for just like us thinking monogamy is the way. Because I think if we grew up and it was like a choice more, it's not a choice though. I want to not say that, because really for some people, I really think it's like not a choice. Like they have to. Yeah. So, but not that there's a choice, but that there's other options, other ways, other identities you can have and other identities you can be. And that's why like we talked about in our 2023 recap episode, like this is like, it's non-monogamy is more talked about than ever before. And I think it's great for like the kids growing up, essentially. I wish I had that.
Yeah, honestly. But okay, let's move into the last one, which is like, how does social media make this all like so much more complicated? And we have an episode like kind of about this, which is just like your relationship isn't safe on Instagram.
That's a good one. I like that episode.
Yeah, because it's like it's so hard. Like we live in like, and even the commodification of dating, like we talked about in that episode too, like everything is at our fingertips. Like you can swipe up on someone's story. Some people think liking someone's picture is cheating. Like sometimes people think liking someone's story, which you cannot even see unless you go through their phone. Like even then you can't really even see it. So it's like, there's so many different like, it's nuanced. There's more like ways to cheat. And I think it just, again, speaks to like, you got to have a conversation with your partner.
Yeah, you have to. Because exactly, not everyone thinks liking story is cheating. Not everyone. So it's like, how are you going to know? And it's like something like liking your story. Like, I'm sorry, that's fucking stupid. Unless you like have a past with them and you're trying to flirt. Like just, you know.
But like, not going to lie, if I knew my person likes like a thirst trap on someone's story, like I feel like that's different and more intimate than a post. Like I would be bothered, but I stand by, I would rather not know.
I would rather not know, and I'll be
like,
fine.
And what are they gonna tell me?
Like that's so stupid. Like why are you gonna like ruin my day for no reason? Yeah, like.
But it also goes into the ego thing of being like, don't have me out here looking stupid, and it also ties into the coming to you as a woman thing, because you never know if that bitch is gonna DM you, know dating this person, and be like, hey, your man just liked my story, and now you have a conversation with him about it. So it's like,
so just don't.
That's why it's so important to talk about this stuff before, because if you have an agreement that like liking their story is fine, you just don't want to hear about it, and then this other person comes and tells you, then you can be like, okay, am I pissed about it? Yeah, because I didn't want to know. But now it's this other woman that's causing the issue, and like I'm solid with my partner. Like it's so nuanced.
Right. It's so nuanced. Like, and that's why, again, you have to have a conversation about it. Like you don't need to have a 4-hour debate, but just like the basic shit, you know, like just fucking say it. And if that's why it's like, if you're taking your time and not like attaching yourself to them, their answers of how they feel about what you want and how you feel about what they want, it's not going to hit as deep because y'all aren't together yet. So just take your time and get to know someone. And last thing I'll say is like, I feel like there is a stigma with women right now being like, I want, this, pay for my dinner, blah, blah, blah. So I feel like some women might be scared to go to men and be like, this is what I consider cheating, because the guy's just going to be like, oh, no. But then it's like, you shouldn't be with him regardless. But I do feel like that adds an extra layer of like fear about it. So, all right. So let's move on to our next set of polls. We asked y'all on Instagram, have you and your partner ever had different definitions of cheating? And this one was kind of even, which I guess is good. 59% said yes and 41% said no. But I feel like to know that you and your partner have different definitions of cheating, either one, you had a conversation about it, or two, you didn't have a conversation about it, something went down and feelings were hurt. And I feel like most likely it was that second one, because like we said, I don't think a lot of people, we should have asked y'all if you've ever had that conversation. But
we should have asked about the conversation, but I feel like that kind of ties into like the next poll, and we can talk about them together, because the next one is, has someone ever accused you of cheating but you didn't think it was cheating? And 52% said yes, 48% said no. So it's also 50-50, which I feel like goes with the other poll.
Totally.
You know? And it's
that's
like,
rough, you guys. We're not having the convo.
We're not having the convo. And look, I've been in this situation, like, honestly, like, too many times. Like, I feel like with my ex that was, like, toxic, abusive, like, whatever, like, he, one, was constantly doing things that I think anyone would consider cheating. Like, even if you don't have a conversation about it, like, we should have still had a conversation. But, like, another thing was he was always accusing me of cheating. Like,
I know.
To an insane degree, like going through my phone, like thinking I was fucking my friends, like, and that's honestly, I feel like why I feel the way I do about relationships now is because I've had like my privacy overstepped and like accusations towards me like so hard that like I never want to make another person feel like that, because like it, like the projection of insecurity, you know, but like, again, I think he's like an anomaly where like he was like toxic or whatever. But like, I think a lot of people have been with a partner, even if they weren't physically abusive, that did those sorts of like emotional abuse where they were going through your phone, accusing you of these things you didn't do. And sometimes it can really come down to you didn't have this conversation. It's nuanced. It's something that's less like cheating. Like say they open your drawer and they find like a letter from your ex, a little more nuanced than like, you know, you catch them like with someone else, or like they're going through your phone, like whatever. So yeah, I just, because of that and because of him constantly accusing me of cheating, when I feel like we talk about all the time, like I feel like being loyal is a really like core part of my identity in relationships, was super hard. So,
and it broke you down, and like especially like when you like add abuse to it, it's like it could almost make you feel like maybe you were doing things and like you definitely weren't. And like that's what's really hard, because then you kind of like, you're losing yourself, you're losing your values,
you
like
paranoid,
what you know like, to be true, because they're feeding you this shit. So I think that's really real, and I think a lot of people can relate to that, and that's different. Like if someone's like accusing you of cheating when it's definitely not, like again, like accusing you of like being secretly in love with your best friend, or like you and your best friend fuck behind our back. Like he definitely thought there was something.
He thought we were fucking.
I know. And it's just like so crazy, because if anyone knows this, like, you know, we just most definitely weren't. Like we've never even had a threesome together. And I swear a lot of people in my life have asked me specifically if I've had a threesome with you. I know.
In college.
Well, in college, we were always together
in the same room, and like we were strippers together. Like we've seen each other like do sexual shit, but like we have never done sexual shit together
or like got our pussy wet because we saw one dancing on stage.
The other person. Exactly. And like even like,
and
like,
thank God
you shouldn't have to explain that. Like, I mean, to other people who don't know us, but like especially to him. And like, yeah, I feel like for me, like getting out of it and like even going back to the conversation about talking about your ex or like whatever, like eventually I feel like we can do an episode about like abusive relationships and like toxic relationships, because there's so much more than just physical abuse and all of that. But like it felt like I was in a cult to the point where I was so paranoid about my relationships and my friendships with everyone. Like I was and it almost makes you act more like sketchy,
right?
Because you're like constantly like
trying
I
to
would
not
like delete messages, I would like hide my phone, like whatever, and I was never cheating, but I knew what he would think was cheating, and like, you know, like that's rare,
right?
But I think it also, like, that can be a thing, too, with someone who has actually cheated. And, like, they become hyper paranoid because the other person, like, has not gotten over it and thinks they're always cheating, too. Yeah. So I feel like a lot of people can relate.
Yeah. I feel like going back to what you were talking to, like, can you come back from cheating? I think I've decided that, like, some people can, but some people can't. Because I think some people aren't able to get over it. Maybe it was really bad, it went on for a while, or like that person just simply can't. So I think it depends on the person, honestly, whether you can come back from it. Because some people like have that thick skin and can roll with the punches and like do the work and put it in and be happy because they really want to. But I don't know, for me, it would be definitely really fucking hard. But I ultimately think that like I like to consider myself like a ride or die too, where it's like you can cheat on me and fuck me over, I'll still love you. But like that's so toxic. I know.
Like I used to be there. I hope I'm never there again. All right, guys. So let's get into some stories, responses, comments, etc. So the first one is from a listener that just said emotional cheating. And I feel like this was just like they wanted to highlight the point that like emotional cheating is also a thing, like not just sexual.
Right.
And I think we kind of covered that. You
know? You mostly like hear about the sexual stuff. But yeah, we totally covered it. Like emotional cheating's real. And like I honestly think it hurts more sometimes. Right. Okay. This listener gave us a little bit of a story. She painted a picture for us a little bit.
We love.
She said, I was dating a guy for a month. I went out with friends and got blackout drunk and didn't remember anything. My friend told me later that a guy had kissed me, but I had zero recollection. So I struggled with like, was I able to give consent or not? Because I literally don't remember anything. And I'm just like, girl, you absolutely were not able to give consent. Yeah. If you don't have any recollection of that, that is like, you were just way too drunk and that guy took advantage of you. Also, what the fuck was your friend doing just watching you kiss someone else? No, I'm sorry. It's not her job to interact.
Your friend might not have known that you were that fucked up because I feel like sometimes people can like I can be really fucked up and seem okay and then I'll just die. Yeah. Like and just fall asleep or whatever. Like that has happened a lot of times where it's like I'm low key like
you really fall asleep. Like,
yeah, I will like fall asleep, you know, so like maybe your friend like thought you were okay but like
and thought you wanted to and like even if because it's not your friend's job to be like you're cheating on your man, like you know what, like you can check your friend and be like, if anything, be like, are you sure you want to do this, not like don't do it. Yeah,
pull them into the bathroom and be like, hey, I just want to make sure like you seem really drunk right now, like are you good? Like, and still, even if they're not, like, even if she did that and the girl was blackout drunk and she said, I'm okay, what do? It can be hard to tell if someone's, like, blackout drunk and won't remember, so.
And it's like we're all responsible for ourselves, unfortunately, but I feel like for this listener, like, I really don't, like, I believe 100% you weren't able to give consent if you were blackout drunk, and, like, I hope that your partner like understood that and like looked at it as more as like an unfortunate situation rather than you doing something wrong, because I don't think you did anything wrong. Like if you don't remember it, you don't remember it. Like, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't mean.
Do you think like this is the tricky thing, right? Like, do you think
like drunk actions or
talk to her partner about it? Because like. Say your friend tells you kissed this person. Okay, you cheated on your partner.
This is where I don't think I'm loyal because I wouldn't.
I don't think I would. Like, I feel like it depends on the relationship. But like I said before, I feel like because of my past, I'm da-da-da. Like, I feel like it's
maybe
better not to say. But if it was in this situation where she didn't give consent completely and she was taken advantage of, like, you would hope that if you were with the right partner, they would understand.
I'd be like, hey, I was assaulted type shit. You know what I mean? If you're that drunk and you don't remember, that can definitely feel like assault. I'm not saying that this listener felt like it was because I don't know, but I think it can, like 100%. Like, and I think a lot of people don't take that seriously, but I think they should.
And I feel like sexual assault can be like nuanced too, because I feel like there's definitely times where like I've been really fucked up and I don't know if I gave consent, but it was easier for me to believe that like, oh, I was just too fucked up, something happened, versus I was taken advantage of. So like that can be,
you kind of roll with
too.
it. Yeah,
you kind of roll with it, but like, yeah, that's like a complicated situation. I feel like you definitely couldn't have given consent if you were blackout drunk. As far as like cheating, I don't think it's cheating. As far as telling your partner, it depends on your partner.
Yeah, it really just depends. 100%.
All right, next one. Anything you wouldn't want your partner doing is cheating. And then we have another one that's very similar. Anything you wouldn't want your partner doing and vice versa. These two kind of go together. And I feel like I feel you. I get where you're coming from, but I disagree. Because this goes back to having a fucking conversation, because like your partner could think liking someone's story is cheating and wouldn't want,
right.
Like you don't know. You're definitely like you don't know until you have the conversation. So it's like
right.
you might think of this thing as cheating so hard and they don't think it's cheating at all. Like different definitions. So like you got to talk about it beforehand.
Right. Yeah, and I just feel like yeah, it's like anything you wouldn't want your partner to see you doing is cheating. I do feel that, but I personally don't want to live that life.
I like, and also like going back to like Catholic school, like Christianity, like there's the 10 Commandments, but there's the golden rule.
What's the golden rule?
Which is like do unto others as you would want done to yourself. So it's pretty much that idea of don't do anything to someone that you wouldn't want done to you, which like I feel. But like with cheating, I feel like again it's like it's nuanced. Like
yeah, and we're kind of drunk right now, so don't take what we're saying too seriously.
Right.
But I feel like. But in an ideal world, I want to be able to, like, just, like, my partner's okay with me being a little, like, flirty with someone casually for 1 second at a bar. So I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to have to, like, you wouldn't want them to see, blah, blah, blah. No, I want us to be so solid that, like, it's fucking fine.
Like a White Lotus.
Like, okay, no. Yeah, I know.
Not
like
that deep, maybe. But
yeah,
like,
I just hate that fucking guy. He's so
I know.
annoying.
I don't like him either. I would never be with a guy like him.
Yeah.
But, like, and she seemed really sad. Like, it was very complicated. But, like, yeah, like, that idea that it's, like, I probably wouldn't want my partner to see this. But, like, I'm okay with them not knowing, and I'm okay with not knowing what they do completely when they have a night out with their friends.
Go for it. I'll be mad about it, but I
don't continue the relationship and text this person.
Yeah, fuck no.
Like, whatever.
Just let me say thank you if someone's like, you look really hot tonight. I'm like, oh, thanks. You do too. Then we walk away and I never talk to them again. I should be allowed to do that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay, this next listener said looking at other hoes in public for too long, which like yeah, because I feel like my ex-boyfriend used to definitely do that shit. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Hate that. But also we just said that so I'm just being very weird right now. I don't know.
Like, don't let me catch you looking at a bitch too long. I don't mind commenting on girls' asses together. Like, I'm like, I like girls too. Like, her ass is fat. Like, okay, cool. But like, don't be out to dinner with me and like staring at the bitch behind me to the point where it's like, what are we doing? You know?
I know. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't like this one. I really don't like this one. I think that especially when you're together, like if we're together, it should be all about me. Point blank fucking period. And then the last one's kind of similar, but it's like getting another girl's IG. I feel like we've talked about this. Guys are like, we're networking, blah, blah, blah. No, the fuck you're not. You're flirting.
But I, like, when I go out, I want to get people's Instagrams, like, follow me, listen to the podcast, Like,
yeah.
I don't think, and I talked to, like, the guy that I was with, the situationship, like, he does, like, similar, like, stuff in the industry, network, whatever. Like, we had talked about that kind of, and I'm like, I'm cool with it. He was cool with it. Like, I feel like it really depends on who you are and what you do. It's different if you're dating a guy who works in construction and doesn't like create content or like whatever and doesn't hardly use his Instagram at all.
Right.
Has, like,
because
300 followers. That's different.
Because
if you're in the industry, it's different.
Yeah, like he's definitely trying to get her Instagram to DM her. That's the thing. Why are you getting her Instagram? Are you actually just networking and you want to follow for follow? Or is it
Yeah.
like you're getting, that's like a line I'll use. Like, I'm like, oh, what's your Instagram? Because I want to talk to you.
Okay, see, I use it different. Like, I will anyone I talk to out, even whatever,
You're
follow
like,
me.
what's your Instagram?
Because I'm like, you could listen to the podcast. Like, you could, whatever. Like, we could work together later down the line. Like, I look at it as much more of a networking thing. That's why I'll give people my Instagram before I feel like giving your number is
Well,
like a
yeah,
fuck no.
definitely not that.
Unless you're working together, whatever. But I feel like you should give your Instagram if you're working together.
Right. It's definitely better. Yeah. All right. So I think it's time to wrap up the episode how we always do. We're going to just say what we're wet, dry, and confused still about the topic. So about cheating. I would say I'm very wet about the potential of finding someone that can kind of exist with me between monogamy and non-monogamy. I think it's 100% possible because I honestly think like we're not alone in how we feel about the whole intellectually I want non-monogamy. I believe in it. I believe it might be the move, but I can't do it because I'm fucking
Right.
a human being and it fucking hurts. So
Right.
I think it's like I need someone like that who gets it because I've just been with people that just don't get like they're fine with it. Like I don't know. And so it's
Yeah.
just like I've been the one that like struggles with it and then it makes me feel like some type of way. So it's like I just want to find, if I do find someone like that, like I think it could really work because that's ultimately what I want. I don't want to be like married, monogamous, and end of story. That's it forever. I don't want that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's rare anymore. I think
Yeah.
like 10, 20 years ago it was, but I don't think so anymore. Not to say that poly people didn't exist 10, 20 years ago, but like now it's more like in the mainstream. You see it on dating apps, shit like that.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I feel like I'm honestly wet about just like learning from my past relationships because I feel like before even like the toxic one I talked about, like, I might have been more like jealous or like whatever about certain things, but like in a weird way, like, you learn from your past experiences. So like I definitely feel like, and I am also wet about like the fact that I think I tried to have these conversations a little bit with the last person I'm with, and I learned that like it wasn't working out, like not just cheating questions but all of those other things. And I'm like definitely wet about talking to your fucking partner
Right.
about it. Like I feel like that is just like for sure something I'm gonna take away from like this episode and like our whole conversation is like I want to have these conversations like with whoever I like see casually leading into anything else like next. Like I want to, and I agree, like there are people out there, like I want to believe it so hard, like it's hard to sometimes, but like I really feel like we're not alone in thinking of like this
At all.
there has to be,
There has to be. I mean, there's me and you know what I mean? There's no way it's just us. Like, I talk to people, like my friends about it all the time that, like, I don't want to fuck them, but it's like they are out there, So I feel like that's like my kind of best case scenario. Do I like need that to be happy? I still don't know yet. I think it's like
Yeah.
I'm figuring it out. Like I've done both. I've done open, I've done closed, but I haven't done something that's really that in between space. So
Yeah.
definitely want to do that. I feel like I'm dry about what am I dry about? Let me see. I feel like what am I dry about? What are you dry about?
Okay, I'll go. I'm dry about having the conversation because it can be
Like a
complicated
lot.
unless you make it fun. I'm dry about like the fact that it's so hard to have the conversation and that like it is so nuanced, and like I also feel like with men who's like mostly what I like the only that I've dated, I feel like they in my experience look at things a lot more black and white, and even if it's not for them, but for women. So I feel like that's kind of what I'm dry about. Like as much as we say like, oh, there's people out there, like I still am a little bit dry about like, I feel like there's segments of the community that focus on this and like want to believe it, but there's the good portion of society that looks at cheating in a different way, and that makes me dry. I'm also dry about, I feel like that's like mostly it. Like I feel like that's mostly it, honestly.
Yeah, I'm definitely dry about the nuances. I'm dry about like the whole like being accused of cheating when you didn't think it was. Like that's never happened
Right.
to me, but I do think that's like a really hard situation. Like if you feel so firmly that you didn't, it can be really frustrating, but at the same time
Yeah.
you still hurt them, so you have to take like accountability that like, you know, intent versus impact, all that shit. That's like so
Yeah.
important, but yeah, it's fucking hard. Like we could honestly go on and on. Like there's so much that like there's so many like things we could list off that could potentially be cheating. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely
Right.
dry about that. It's like a lot. And then I feel like for confused, I'm not confused because like it's deep, it's fucking hard. But also like I just feel like it would eliminate all this shit. So why can't we just like not be lazy about it and just fucking do it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's why I'm confused. And I'm also confused about people that think that you can only cheat when you're married. Like that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I'm definitely confused about like honestly my relationship type and what I really want. And I feel like it's like I definitely like I've said this before in other episodes, but like in one coming up as well, like I feel like I lose some of my personal identity when I'm with a person because I prioritize how they feel and like I put the relationship before myself, and I need to stop doing that. But like I'm just confused about, and I feel like with the right person, I would know when we define it together and like we figure it out, all of that. But like I still am a little bit confused on where I stand between like ethical non-monogamy and monogamy. Like
Same.
I don't know where I'm completely at and what I completely want. Like I do think I want like a partner and a person, but I think like those, even what I consider cheating, I don't know if I know. And maybe it's a good exercise. Like recently I wrote like a whole thing, bullet points of my standards. Maybe like it's a good practice to also like write that out for yourself. And it could change with the person. But maybe you need to do some inner self work, some reflection, some journaling, and be like, what do I consider cheating? Like what would hurt me and what won't?
You don't need to necessarily like read the list off to them, but at least you've done the inner work where like when you're gonna have that conversation, you like have, you know, a summary, like you've thought about it. Because I feel like for me, I'd be like, I don't know. Like you have to, it all starts with like the inner work. It's not always just about the other person. It has to be about you. And the best thing to do it is write the list when you're single. So, you know, you're not having any bias and being like, cause I'm with this person.
And that's the thing, like, one thing I did with the last situationship guy was I made the list of all my standards. Then we got back together. And, like, at one point, I, like, color-coded the things. And I put, like, the green things as the things he was doing, the red things as the things he wasn't, and the yellow things as the things he was in between. And I realized that, like, there were certain things I was willing to, like, give up because he had most of the things and not. So, like, I do think you make this list with the idea that, like, not everyone is going to, like, check off everything. And you can have conversations about this. But at least you're putting work into it. And I feel like it sounds so corny, but, like, how much work do we put into like our resume to get a job and like all these other areas of our lives? Like, is your relationship and who you end up with not super fucking important? Like, put work into it.
Put fucking work into it and put like, you know, the thought, set it up for success. You know what I mean? Don't wait, because then it just gets fucking trickier. So just let it all out, bitches. Okay. Let it all out. And
I think that's their homework, though. I feel like your homework and mine too, and yours. We should make a list of what we consider cheating and what we not, with the idea that it could change.
Right.
But yeah.
And with the intention of like sharing it with someone one day when the time is right, you know? But yeah, I think that about does it for this episode. I hope you guys liked it. We definitely liked it. I feel like it's a good topic. And it's also like, you know, I just love these episodes because we've never like really, when you really think about something, it's like, damn, I actually do have a lot of like opinions on this, you know?
Right.
So, but yeah, if you guys liked it, please comment below and let us know. Slide in our, I'm slurring. Slide into our DMs. Introduce yourself. We'd love to meet you. We're at So Wet So Dry on every social media platform. The O's are zeros. Definitely subscribe wherever you are, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, wherever you are. Just give us a like, something. It would mean the world to us.
Yes, and if you guys are listening on Spotify, we also have listener support. It's 99 cents, $4.99, or $9.99 a month. When you think about it, 99 cents is super cheap. Over the course of 30 days, do some girl math. That's like not many cents a day. You feel me? And it really it helps encourage us that like one day we can make a living off of this, hopefully. But yeah, definitely, like Autumn said, like follow us on everything, like share with a friend, all of that. Thank you so much for your time.
Bitch, not
That's too meaningless.
I'm sorry. Continue.
Okay. And as we always say, we will catch you in the next episode.
Bye. Really is like a trending thing to like not even hate on being straight, but just like wish that you weren't. If people are like out here like just happily being straight, it's almost like off-putting. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's also this like sense of like hopelessness. Even us talking about dating like we just did, we're like frustrated with the heterosexual side of dating, but we're still gonna talk to men.
Right.
So it like becomes this thing of you're like, oh, like all men are like this. Oh, like men don't know how to like have a conversation. They don't know how to go on dates, but like we're still actively engaging in it. So that's kind of just creating this bigger barrier between you having a healthy heterosexual relationship, and men definitely do it too.
Yeah.
They're like, women are for the streets, she's a hoe, like